Welcome back to Let's Play Sorcery. I am Adam, aka Zalem, and I want to talk today about draft and what you can do to ensure victory at your local event. I do want to quickly go over what draft is in Sorcery and just do a quick rundown for those of you unfamiliar with draft. So in draft, it is a limited format, and each player is given 3 packs. You'll usually sit in a pot of 6 to 8 players. Each player will start by opening their first pack, choosing a card out of that first pack, and then passing that pack to the left so that the player to their left can choose a card out of that pack. They'll receive, now you as a player will receive a pack from the person on your right. You'll pick another card and then you'll pass that pack to the left, and that'll keep going that way until all of the cards have been drafted from those packs. And then after the first pack is done, the second pack you'll open, you'll choose a card, and then you'll pass that pack to the right for round 2 or pack 2 of drafting. And then everyone will choose all their cards, keep passing to the right until all the cards are gone. And then you'll open the third pack, you'll choose a card, and then pass to the left again for round 3 or pack 3. So that is draft. Now in draft, you will be given not blank sides, but basic sides that don't do anything. The tournament organizer will provide those. The tournament organizer will also provide spell slingers, which is the avatar that just lets you start with an extra spell. Some stores do allow you to choose pre-con avatars to play in their limited events. When a store gives you a choice of a pre-con avatar, drafting is definitely much different because you'll kind of go into it knowing which avatar you want to draft or want to play with once you draft all your cards and you start playing your matches. And usually that's going to be either Savior or Necromancer. Harbinger is there, Persecutor is there. Both, I would say, honestly, Harbinger is probably a bit easier to draft for than Savior. Persecutor is a bit tougher. It just requires more specific cards. And draft, you're only looking at 3 packs and whatever people hand to you. It's not the same as sealed. So I think Persecutor is probably pretty tough to draft for. Necromancer is easy. Necromancer just pumps out tokens, so it doesn't really matter what you draft most of the time. Savior, it can be a little bit difficult to draft for because you need enough non-evil minions in your deck to ward. So generally with Savior, you want to go for Earth Fire because Earth Fire will give you the most amount of minions that you can ward while also giving you really good defenses against Necromancer decks with cards like Flare and the Deserts, amongst other things. You can also go Earth Water with Savior, but you just won't have as many answers against the Necromancer decks. Harbinger is pretty simple to draft for. You're just, again, not guaranteed to see the cards you want to see. You want to see cards that allow you minions that have Void Walk, so that if you roll a certain way for the Harbinger's discount squares, maybe you roll like in the outer edges of the realm where sites just won't be played at until later in the game. You want to be able to play your Void minions for cheap out there early so that they can get into the action as quickly as possible. So generally speaking, you do want to look for Void Walk minions when you're playing with Harbinger. So if the store allows you to choose the pre-con avatars, that's great, and you'll kind of draft and look for cards for that particular avatar. And if all else fails, if you can't get enough non-evil minions for Savior, or you can't get enough Void Walk minions to create a good curve for your Harbinger deck, you can always just play with Necromancer and just flood the board with tokens. That is the common go-to in draft, I've noticed. But all of that aside, From here on, we're going to assume that you are not at a store that allows you to pick precard avatars, that you only have access to the avatars that you see in the packs, as well as Spell Slinger. So, all right. So I think to start out, what we're going to do is we're just going to focus on pack one, pick ones, and we'll go through 8 packs as quickly as possible and try to figure out and talk about what card would be best to start your draft with. So generally what I like to do whenever I'm looking at my very first pack, I want to look for either bomb cards, cards that have a strong effect when you play them, or cards that are very difficult to deal with, or that may be 2 for 1 my opponent or 3 for 1 my opponent. These are cards that I look for whenever I'm doing my first pick. And you really want to focus on exceptionals and elites or uniques. Ordinary cards don't really have bomb cards. You won't find bombs in ordinary. So right away we can see this is primarily a fire pack. So we have 2 exceptional fire cards and 1 elite fire card. Nothing is popping out to me as a bomb card just yet. So there isn't like an obvious, oh, I have to take that. Bladder Blimp is kind of cool. Bladder Blimp says Deathrite players lose life, 1 life for each nearby site they control. It's 3 power. Again, I've said this before, but you really want to focus on minions that have 3 power or more in both draft and sealed. Because 2 power and 1 power minions, they are easily removed or easily killed by 3 power plus minions. So generally speaking, you don't really want to focus on those unless it's something like the water minion, the Instigator Imp that makes 2 minions fight each other, 2 enemy minions. That can be useful. But most of the 2 power and 1 power minions you really don't want to mess with. But yeah, Bladder Blimp is a cool minion. It's 5 mana, it's a lot. And it could backfire. Being at 3 power, there are a lot of spells in the format that deal 3 damage and fire. And water even has ice shards. So it's a bit of a dangerous card. If you play it on your side, you could lose a lot of life if your opponent removes it right away. So Bladder Blimp is a risky play. I would pick Bladder Blimp later in the draft if I'm in air and I really need to round out my picks. So not super excited about that. Centipede is 2 power for 2 mana. Doesn't have a strong enough ability. Hot Wheel is 2 power for 4 mana. I really don't like that rate. All it does is roll forward and strike another unit at each location it enters, so up to 2 other units. It could take out 2 skeletons and then attack a skeleton after. But in general, this is not like a pack one, pick one for me. It could be useful, but if there are no bombs in the exceptionals and the elite slot, now I'm going to look for removal that can deal with bombs. So for me, it's either bomb and for pack one, pick one, or removal for a bomb. So Mazuj Ifrit, 3 mana for 4 power. At the start of your turn, you lose 2 life. This is a very good card for sure. And I like how it only makes you lose 2 life at the start of your turn. So your opponent has a chance to remove it. And if they don't, you lose 2, but then you get to attack for 4. So this is a very good card. And fire is a good element to start with in draft. So this is going to be like most likely my pick without looking at the other ordinaries just yet. But we'll take a look to see if we can find any removal spells. And right away we see something. Smite is pretty good, but there's nothing else. So really in this pack, I'm only looking at, for pack one, pick one, Smite or Mazuj Ifrit. I think either one of them would be a decent pack one, pick one. But because of the power of Mazuj Ifrit and how Smite is a bit circumstantial. Like it's not necessarily a bomb killer in every situation. It can remove Mazu Jifri because it says banish the evil minion. Smite is a very, very good card, but it is ordinary. We're likely to see another Smite. Mazu Jifri is elite. We're likely not to see another Mazu Jifri. So, and like I said, fire is a really good element to start with. So I would definitely pick the 4 power 3 mana flyer in that situation. So moving on to the second pack here. So again, this is not how draft works, but we're just focusing on pack 1 pick ones for now, and then we'll go back and look at the packs again to see what our second picks would be. So here we want to look at our exceptionals and our elites again. So if this was our very first pack in the draft, what would be our first pick in this pack? This is definitely not as easy right out of the gate as that last pack. You see Deep Sea. It's not really something I want to pick in the first pack. Wave of Eviction. It's a very just situational card that doesn't remove anything. Wreathed in Righteousness is pretty cool, but it only deals 2 damage to everything around it, so it's not going to be able to take out a bomb card. It's not going to be able to even remove a 3 power minion. So Wreathed in Righteousness is not great unless you're trying to get something that can deal with Necromancer skeleton tokens. So it is a cool card. It is useful, but not necessarily something I have to get in pack 1 pick 1. We can get Flayer, which is an ordinary minion, in a later pack, to deal with. We can get deserts, to deal with skeleton tokens. We don't have to have Wreath in Righteousness. So our elite here is Stagecoach. It has charge, may carry any number of minions. This is only 2 power, so it's just an automatic pass for me, even though it has charge. It's just not good enough. So we don't have a strong bomb. We're looking for removal that can deal with bombs. Bomb cards, like big minions. Ignited is cool. 2 mana for 3 power with charge is basically like removal. It dies at the end of your turn. So that's a cool card, but won't take care of any big minions. We got some really good minions. Whoa, look at these 3 minions. These are all 3 good minions to pull and draft. The Moss Troll, the Ghoul, and the Screamer. Screamer is excellent. He's probably the best minion in the best ordinary and exceptional minion in air. Slimy Mutants. Dang, this is a really stacked pack for minions, but no removal. No good removal for bombs. We don't have any bombs. We don't have any good removal for bombs. So what would be our pack 1 pick 1? My personal pick here would be, assuming we're playing with something like Spellslinger. Man, this would be a tough one. It would just have to be a minion here. Moss Troll is pretty cool. Screamer is just, I think, too good to pass up. So, and Slimy Mutant is also really good. 4 power is very strong. So for me, I think my pack 1 pick 1 here would be between these 3. Wreathed in Righteousness, Slimy Mutants, or Screamer. And it definitely depends heavily on which way you want to go. I think any one of these would be a decent pack 1 pick 1. Just depending on what you would like to do. Again, fire is a really good color to start with. I think water is also a really good color to start with. If you start drawing monsters, there are a lot of monsters, a lot of big minions in Gothic. So it's going to be easy to make a water deck. It's easy to make a fire deck. Air is a little bit more difficult to make a solid deck with. There are definitely more minions that are just too weak to play with in air. But Screamer is so good that I think I would start with Screamer here. He's too good. He says tap target adjacent enemy minion and make it take a step away. I like him because he's only 3 mana. You get him you get 3 power for 3 mana. He's coming out early. and he can send a minion away so that you can get an attack in. Maybe you can send a blocker away so that you can trade up by killing one of their minions with one of your stronger minions. You can send like some giant monsters. It's not removal, but it definitely can send some 10-ton slug or some other giant thing, away one step and tapped. I mean, that's the next best thing, right? So I like Screamer. He's got a good rate and he sends minions away. So that would be my pack one, pick one for this particular pack. All right, so let's look at another pack. Okay, so in this pack, right out of the gate, we have a couple of strong picks in the exceptional slot. Those Who Linger, 6 mana for 4 power. Deathrite, summon a ghoul from your collection, which is 3 power. It has Deathrite, summon a skeleton to this site. So this is a pretty strong card. I like Those Who Linger. It's really good with Harbinger. Invigorate's not really something I care about. It just gives +3 power and heals 3. Yes, you could put this on a minion and then use that minion to kill one of your opponent's minion. It's not horrible, but it does require you to be in 2 colors. You don't know if you're going to be in Earth Water yet. And you have to tap your minion in order to attack to kill a minion, so you're not really advancing pressure on your opponent. You're kind of spending your whole turn just to remove a minion, so it's not amazing. Stygian Archers are this is one of the best minions in air, just like Screamer is. I think Stygian Archers and Screamers. Stygian Archers is probably the best exceptional air minion, if I remember correctly, out of everything I've seen or we've talked about. I like Stygian Archers a lot. It's cool because you can set it on your back row and you can be defensive with it. And it does generate the skeleton tokens when you kill something. So I definitely like Stygian Archers. If this is my very first pack, I definitely would be strongly considering that. Release the Hound, 7 mana. That's just too much to get 2-3 power minions out. It would come out so late in the game. Sometimes you probably won't even see 7 mana in a game, except for maybe at the very end of the game, when someone's already on death's door. If you're playing properly, you definitely don't want to just sit there and draw sides just to get to this if it's in your opening hand. So yeah, Release the Hound's not really a pack one, pick one. Not really a strong enough like bomb card for me to pick over like Stygian Archers or even Those Who Linger. Looking at the rest of the pack, let's see if there are any bomb cards. Shoggoth is not really a bomb card. It's a strong minion for sure. Not necessarily like a bomb card or anything to deal with a bomb. There's Zap. Foil Zap. It's a pretty foil. Ice Shards. Cool. Very good, water removal spell. Waters of Tomorrow. And, Monks of Cabalsa. This is actually a really good card. I like Monks of Cabalsa, especially with Savior. It's 4 mana for 4 power and Earth. That's very strong. So for me, in this pack, I didn't really see any bombs. I didn't see much removal for bombs. Murder of Crows is in here, but it's ordinary. We're likely to see Murder of Crows again, but this is a very strong removal spell, especially against the Necromancer decks. Somebody is probably going to draw a Necromancer in your draft. So I would say in this pack we have 4 fairly strong contenders here. I think out of everything I see here, Those Who Linger is pretty expensive. It is exceptional, so we might not see it again. But being at 6 mana and not necessarily being a super bomb card, it's just 4 power when it first comes out, so it's not crazy. I think that takes a back seat to these 3. So if we're choosing between these 3, this would definitely depend a little bit on what kind of style of gameplay you want to go for. Obviously, You can ward this with Savior, so it'd be really good in Savior. Wouldn't be too bad in Harbinger if you happen to see a Harbinger later. Doesn't really do much in it doesn't like match or pair well with Necromancer or Persecutor per se, but 4 mana, 4 power, and Earth. It's pretty good. There are also some strong removal spells in Earth and ordinary slots, so I think knowing that I'm likely to see some strong ordinary removals, having this strong minion already in my back pocket in Earth, I think it is a very good idea. Like Murder of Crows and Stygian Archers, they're both very, very good. But 4 for 4 on Monks of Cabal Sun, it can't be modified except by words. I think this is going to be my pack one, pick one. It'll definitely go toe-to-toe with Stygian Archers. And just the fact that I'll likely see something like Buried Alive or Smite in a later pack is one of the main reasons why I would pick Monks of Cabalsa. So that would be my pack one, pick one here. Even though it is ordinary, it just sets me up for success a lot more than taking one of these air cards right now. So, all right, so let's go again. Let's see another pack here. All of these packs are from a fresh booster box, by the way. I have no idea what we're going to see here. Onslaught, Kiss of Death, Iron Maiden. Okay, and we got a foil back here. Nice. Sensio of the Fang. That's pretty. Look at that. That's cool. Alright, but yeah, Sensio of the Fang, not really something I would play with in draft or sealed. So again, we don't see any bomb cards. We see utility, removal. That's pretty good removal. This maybe Cast of Spirits and Undead. Really good removal if you have Necromancer. We just don't know if we're going to have Necromancer. This is, again, this would be our pack one, pick one. So we haven't seen any other cards. This is our very first pack. We just sit down for draft. Iron Maidens, too situational for draft. It just says whenever a nearby avatar draws a card, they lose life equal to the number of cards they've drawn this turn. We wouldn't play with that. This is a pretty strong sight. Peculiar Port. Lets you summon a horrible hybrids from your collection. And remember, in draft and sealed, the tournament organizer is going to provide you with any cards that are named. Any cards from your collection that are named, specifically named on card effects, they will provide you with. So if you play with this card, you get a free horrible hybrids to play with it, to put in your collection. So that's cool. It's kind of like card draw, sort of. Basically is in draft and sealed. This is basically like a side that just says draw one, because you're playing with a lot of 3-power minions. So side that says draw one's definitely pretty good. Kiss of Death. There are a whole lot of undead in Gothic. So this could be good. It's just you have to already have your minion on location. It may be cast by Spirits and Undead. Kill target minion here. So it really is mainly for decks that are playing with a lot of skeleton tokens. But if that's your aim, Kiss of Death would definitely be a really good pack one, pick one. If you just know, if you just know you're going to seek out every single skeleton minion or skeleton token card that you can find, that's a pretty good pack one, pick one. Search Party is also kind of a cool pack one, pick one, because it's ordinary. You're likely to see more search parties in other packs, assuming other people aren't just drafting them as soon as they see them. In my last draft, I had 3 search parties in my deck, and it definitely came in handy. Instigator Amps, really cool card. Make 2 enemy minions at target nearby location fight each other. I wouldn't say that that's necessarily a pack one, pick one. I'm not sure. In pack one, pick one, I'm not sure if I'm in water. There's a good minion. Still no removal. There's the horrible hybrids. Still no strong removal. No giant bombs here. Kiss of Death is pretty decent removal. I would say out of all the cards here, for me, again, Earth is always a strong pull because if I don't end up getting bomb cards or big minions, I know I'll probably see Buried Alive or Smite at some point. And if I see Savior, then I'll want cards like this so I can ward them, just like that Monks of Cabalsa in that last pack. So this is always tempting to me to draw this card. Onslaught's not really worth it. Gain +1 power, charge, and can't be immobilized, silenced, or disabled. Not really worth it. So out of this pack, I would say these 3 cards here are the ones I'm looking at for pack 1, pick 1. I think that the site takes a back seat because it's situational. Like sometimes you're playing your site because you want to play some giant minion that you have in your hand, especially if you're in water. And you don't necessarily want to pay the 3 mana to get your horrible hybrids at certain stages of the game. So it's a bit situational and not really something I want to be drafting in my very first pick here. Now, if it was my second pick, maybe. If I was already in water, then probably, yeah. So I'm looking at probably just these 2. This pack is not necessarily that strong for pack 1, pick 1 for my first pack here. So between Search Party and Kiss of Death, yeah, Kiss of Death is very strong. It can easily take out some big giant minion that your opponent's playing. So even though Search Party is a really good ordinary minion, I think Kiss of Death, having this removal in your back pocket right out of the gate, is probably worth taking first. And it's exceptional. Search Party is ordinary. You're likely to see more Search Parties. You're not likely to see another Kiss of Death. So Kiss of Death would be my pack 1, pick 1 there. And on to the next pack here. I think we've done 5 so far. Kind of want to go through 8 just because there are usually 8 players in a pod for draft. So in this one we have Flagellant. When he takes damage, you heal 1 against 2 power, so not really worth my time. Kroll Morlocks, 3 for 3 is a really good rate. Not really a bomb card. Town Priest, not worth taking. Interrogator, now this is a cool card. I think I did mean to say this at the beginning of the video. You're obviously looking for avatars. For pack 1, pick 1, that would be amazing if you just got your avatar right out of the gate. And Interrogator is a very good avatar to play in Draft or Sealed. I think that it's likely you can reach your opponent. And if you do, being able to draw cards or damage them, make them lose extra life, I think it's pretty strong. I think definitely Interrogator is worth playing over Spellslinger. So I think out of this pack, especially since there are no other bomb cards, there's a cool removal spell. Smite, Screamer's really good. But out of all this, I would just definitely automatically just take the Interrogator here and then probably try to draft a token deck after this. I'd want to get a lot of skeleton tokens so I have as many opportunities as possible to attack my opponent's avatar. Or even frog tokens. For some reason, a 0 power strike is still a strike and still triggers the Interrogator abilities. So yeah, that would be my pack 1, pick 1 for this pack. It's a pretty easy choice. Alright, we'll do 2 more here. So, Holy Nova. Any bombs, any avatars? Corpse Catapult. Tap Bearer and another ally here. Banish a dead minion. Deal damage equal to the banished minion's power to each unit at target location up to 3 steps away. This could be cool and limited. If you're in a token deck, if you have enough allies to do this with, could be pretty cool. But I wouldn't say, I mean, you have to tap the bear and another ally, so you need 2 minions and then a dead minion. So kind of situational. Not really something I would pick right out of the gate. We have Holy Nova here. Deal damage to each enemy at affected locations. You may break an allied ward to center the spell on that location instead of the caster. This is a pretty cool card. I do like this card, especially since it's an earth and it can take care of skeleton tokens. This would be a pretty strong pack one, pick one, I think. Assuming there are no bombs or hard removal. Desert is really good. Ravenous Werewolf is good. But yeah, there's no hard removal here, no big bombs. Meat Hook is cool, but too situational. Not really something I would be wanting to take up a slot in my deck for. So in this pack, Forlorn Keep is cool. Holy Nova is obviously cooler. So Holy Nova is just too good there. It puts me in Earth 2, which is a really good color to be in. It has a lot of strong ordinary minions and spells, removal spells. So one last pack here. I forgot to look for curios in this, didn't I? There was like a troll in one of these packs. I guess we'll go back through these. Anyway, so in this pack we have Searing Truth. It's just a draw spell. This one's not a pack one, pick one for me. It is a draw spell, it's cool, but it can also damage you and cause you to lose the game. Yes, you can target your opponent when they're on death's door and kill them, but there are other ways to target your opponent on death's door. Holy Water is actually a really good card in limited. Tap, sacrifice this Holy Water. Throw a projectile if it hits a minion. Banish it if evil. Ward it if not. So I don't see bombs in here. Holy Nova will definitely delete a bomb. So this can definitely take out a large minion across the way. And Lord of Lies, something like that. This can just totally banish it. So Holy Water already is speaking to me. Swap, it's okay in draft and sealed. It's just, honestly, most of the time it's going to be not as useful as it would be in constructed. So here's a cool unique though. Death Ride abilities here, also Genesis abilities. It's just, it's in draft and sealed, you're not likely to be able to take advantage of that card. What else do we have in here? We have a foil back here. Bitten, not really worth drafting. Turn to Frog. Yeah, there's pretty much nothing back here as far as power. Or this is a really good card. Mesmer Demon is a really good card. It's like the counterpart of the air guy that pushes a minion away. This one pulls it in and taps it. I like this card a lot. But out of this pack, if this is the first pack one, pick one, I'm sitting down. I don't know what colors I'm going to be in. Holy Water is just an auto snap take here. Takes out a evil minion, banishes it. And if nothing else, it gives one of your minions wards. So Holy Water's very, very good and limited. Surprisingly, I don't see that one very often. All right, so out of all of our pack one, pick ones, we have Holy Water, Holy Nova, Interrogator, Kiss of Death, Monks of Cabalsa, Screamer, and Mazuj Ifrit. So all of these really strong cards in limited, draft and sealed. So just a quick rundown of pack one, pick one. Now let's go over what maybe a pick two would be out of these same packs here. So obviously it definitely depends on what you picked in your very first pack as far as what you would pick for your second draw here. But for my second pick, I'm looking to see if I can stay within the same color. And I'm looking for probably a strong minion or again, a strong removal spell. So going through here, I'm going to pass on Searing Truth, pass on Swap, pass on all of this. I'm looking for a strong minion, good removal spell. I see Mesmer Demon. I see Weathered Trunks. This pack honestly isn't amazing. If I'm in water, it's an easy take from it's a snap take on Mesmer Demon. If I'm in water, it's just obviously very, very good. If I'm in earth, knowing that earth pairs well with water, I might go ahead and try to dip into water just for Mesmer Demon. Nothing. There's basically nothing in here for earth. If I'm in air, if my pack one pick one was an air spell, you know, you might grab the open mausoleum just because there's pretty much nothing else in here. You can grab the zap. Some people like playing with zap, so that they can finish their opponent off on death's door. Sorry, I was looking at these cards in this light reflection. You can see like sorcery across the face of the card, I guess from the ink on the back of the cards. All these cards say, you can't really see it in the camera, but it's kind of weird. But yeah, in air, Static Servant's not really worth playing. It is a good card. I mean, I say that it is good against Necromancer. It's just most of the time, Genesis, each other unit here takes 1 damage. It's okay. It's not horrendous. Maybe you can make a good trade with it, but then you're just left with a 2-power minion. It's not amazing. I don't know if I'd pick this in for my second pick. I could pick this maybe in 4th, 5th, 6th pick. But for my second pick, honestly, Mesmer Demon is just so good. And what he does, tap target adjacent enemy minion, make it take a step closer. I'd probably pick Mesmer Demon here. If I was already in fire, I might take Searing Truth, especially if I'm planning on making a deck with a low curve, so that I'm not going to hit myself, very hard. Like if our pack one pick one was like something like Mazur's Ifrit, I might go ahead and take Searing Truth here. So for pick 2, Searing Truth or Mesmer Demon. Weathered Trunks is cool. It is 4 mana for 4 power, but it must be cast on allied side occupied by an enemy. Sometimes that does get in the way, and you just can't cast them. Not saying I would never pick him, but Mesmer Demon is just much more useful. So it would be between Mesmer Demon and Searing Truth for sure, depending on what my pack one pick one. Mesmer Demon is definitely something that could put me in water. Searing Truth, I don't think this would put me in fire. If I don't already have fire, I don't think I even pull Searing Truth. So, all right. So that would be my analysis for my second pick of that pack. Now, if this was my second pack, the player to my right just passed this pack to me. Again, I'm looking for some sort of removal. Desert is really good against skeleton tokens, so I'm always thinking about deserts if there's nothing else in here. Ravenous Werewolf is pretty good. It's ordinary. It's 5 mana, so it's not super high on my list to grab. 5 mana for 3 power. I'd rather just grab a 3 power for 3 mana, but charge does make it a little bit more, enticing. This guy, just the fact that he has to strike your avatar unless you discard a card, makes him a bit lower in my pick. But if I'm in air already, I might grab Dreadwing. If there's nothing else in here, and there isn't, Broomstick Witch I would never play with. Noisome Twosome is actually a good card in Earth, so this could be a decent pack 2, or pack 1, pick 2. Penitent Knight is actually just better though. This one is just 3 mana for 3 power. Any 3 mana for 3 power is something worth picking. And then you have also Forlorn Keep here. So Forlorn Keep just gives you a free Penitent Knight. Not a free one. You still have to pay 3 mana, but it's like draw a card. So I think this one is pretty straightforward as well. I would say this would even like put me in Earth if I'm not already in Earth. So yeah. If I'm in Fire, do I pick Desert for my pick 2? I don't think so. I would definitely just grab the Forlorn Keep and just try to do Fire Earth here and hope nobody chokes me out of earth or fire. But taking this like puts me in two different colors so that I can go two different directions too if things don't go my way. So yeah, that's a good pick 2, Forlorn Keep. And then pick 3 in that pack probably be like the Penitent Knight, something like that. Here for pack 2 or pack 1, pick 2 and pick 3, Crow Morlocks, really good pick. Smite, a better pick. Moss Trolls, pretty good pick if you're in water. Screamer's really good in air. Crawler's decent pick in earth. Wild Fanatic is okay. He's better if you're playing Savior because you can play him and then ward him and then attack into like some minion to kill it or something, then just break the ward. Landmass is not worth playing in limited. It just takes up it. I mean, it's just terrible to top deck. I see a lot of people playing these landmass and the water one. You don't want to play those. Willing Tribute is also really cool, but it's more of a later pick. Like when you know you're playing with big monsters, then you can cast Willing Tribute and sacrifice and untap your monster. But I would say for pick 2, pick 3, these five cards right here, they're pretty good. And Smite can actually just take out some giant things. So Smite would definitely be my second pick. It would put me in Earth. And if I'm already in Earth, obviously I'd take it. If I'm in air, if I'm already in air, it'd be tough between Screamer and Smite. Smite is just hard removal though. So, and if my first pick in air was not removal, it was just a minion, I might pick Smite just so I can have an answer to some giant thing across the table. But yeah, beyond Smite, if it was, between these 3, just depends on what color you're in. Like any one of these 3 would be, or these 4, I'm sorry. Any one of these 4 cards would be really good picks. High picks, for sure. So Crawler, Screamer, Moss Troll, Crow Morlocks, because they're all 3 mana for 3 power. And they also have additional abilities. That's just really good. But yes, Smite would be at the top of the list there. All right, moving on to the next pack. We have a couple of strong cards here right out of the gate. Any other strong one? Instigator Imp is decent. Troubled Town is always good later in the draft. Grab a Troubled Town so you get a free 2-power minion that you have to pay 1 for. But Snallygaster is good. Horrible Hybrids is good here. So yeah, for me, it's definitely between these 5 cards here. For my pick 2, it would heavily depend on what color I was in. None of these cards would necessarily put me into a new color. If I was in water, obviously water's pretty good here. If I was in water, I would take Horrible Hybrids over Instigator Imp, just because it's kind of situational. And I just want minions that I can play and put pressure on my opponent. But Peculiar Port gives me a Horrible Hybrids for 3. So obviously Peculiar Port would be the higher pick. Horrible Hybrids second if there was no Peculiar Port. And then Instigator Imp if I'm in water. But again, none of the... Now, I say that none of these would necessarily put me in a new color. If I, say, picked fire in my first pack, and there's nothing good in fire in that pack, I would probably grab Peculiar Port. Might go into water, and also this robs another player of getting it. So this is a pretty good pick. Search Party also, if you really want to get into Earth, you really want to be able to get access to Smites later or Buried Alive. Search Party is another good one. Just because it's a 3 mana for 3, you might see more Search Parties. So between these 2, depending on which direction you want to go, either one of these would be really good picks. If you're already in air, I don't think either one of these would pull me out of here. I would just grab that Snallygaster right out of the gate. If I'm in air, I want as many 3 power 3 mana minions as I can get. So yeah, that's again, this is pack 1, pick 2, pick 3. These are the things that I'd be looking for. Here, already, if I'm in air, obviously Stygian Archers would be the main one over those who linger, for sure, if I'm in air. Murder of Crows also is very strong. Being able to deal with your opponent's skeleton tokens is strong. You can recast this from the cemetery. If you're in air and you're not sure if you're going to be able to hit fire, you might just go ahead and take the Murder of Crows. You have to be able to deal with a sea of skeletons headed your way. So it's just Stygian Archers is so good. It would be a strong, it would be tough. Honestly, if it was me, I might hope that I just see Murder of Crows again later. It's ordinary. I might even go into fire later just to help with that. Stygian Archers, I probably would just take Stygian Archers. It's just so strong. It's an offensive and defensive card, so I like it a lot. Those Who Linger is also really good, but this one comes out earlier, has more utility. So yeah, if I'm in air, definitely these guys. If I'm in water, Shoggoth. If my first pick was water, I'd definitely grab Shoggoth. That's a really good card. It's a 6 mana for 5 power. 5 power is just really hard to deal with. Ice Shards is really good. So going through this pack, I would say I really don't want to be playing with any of the rest of these cards. I really don't like Zap that much. I'd rather not have a card that's just sitting in my hand waiting for my opponent to be on death's door before I can play it. So I'm not a huge fan of Zap. I know some people are. It's not me. I want cards that are less situational, more useful in a vacuum. So yeah, these are the 5 good cards that you'd be looking at for pick 2, pick 3. I think by pick 4, a lot of these cards will probably be gone, to be honest. These are all really good. If I was in fire, which card would I take to put me into a new color? Fire already has plenty of ways to deal with skeleton tokens, so I don't really think you need to jump into air for Murder of Crows. Stygian Archer is okay, but I don't think this would necessarily put me in air. If I'm in fire, fire does have less large minions to put out onto the field. So does air. I don't really like fire air combo in limited because you don't get access to large minions. So I would pick probably Shoggoth. You don't need Ice Shards if you're in fire because you have a lot of access to other removal spells in fire, like Trial by Fire and Flame Strike. So Shoggoth would be probably my pick here. If my first pick was like that Mazu Jifrit, I'd grab a Shoggoth so that I can round out the top end of my curve with big water minions. So yeah, fire water is pretty decent. All right, so that covers that pack. We got two more packs here to look at, and then we'll call it. So here we have this. We got Slimy Mutants, Wreathen Righteousness. We have Ignited is okay. Monstrel is good. Ghoul is good. Hellhounds are good. Desecrator card's not that good. I know people like to draft this. It's a 1 power thing. It dies to deserts. I wouldn't grab that. Muddy Pigs, 2 power. Healing is not really that important. Virgin and Prayer, Warden Allied Minion. This would be like pack 3, right? If you know you've already got some big earth minions that can be warded, you have a lot of them, Virgin and Prayer might be worth grabbing, but usually I would just pass on that. So out of this pack, definitely these are the cards I'd be looking at. With the Hellhounds, Ghoul, Monstrel, these are all 3 mana, 3 power things. These are all decent picks, you know, 2nd, 3rd, 4th pick. None of these cards necessarily scream, oh, I have to pick this. Now, if I'm in fire, and if I'm picking between these 3 fire spells, And this is my second pick. I would definitely pick the Wreathed in Righteousness because I need to make sure that I can deal with Necromancer's skeleton tokens. And this is an exceptional card. I'm not guaranteed to get a Flayer or Deserts. So Wreathed in Righteousness, having this in my back pocket ready to go is probably what I would take or definitely what I would take in Fire. Now, is that something that would put me into Fire if I was already in, say, Earth? Yeah, I would say if I'm in Earth, I want to be getting into either water or fire. And water, because water has some ward synergies. Moss Troll is good with ward, and Earth has ward synergies. And then fire is nice with Earth because Earth gives you the big minions, some hard removal. Fire gives you some direct damage, some utility, and gives you some spells like Wreathed in Righteousness, Flayer, Deserts, things like that to deal with skeleton tokens that Earth doesn't really do well with, unless you have Holy Nova. I think if I'm in water between Slimy Mutants and Moss Troll, I'm definitely grabbing Slimy Mutants, especially since you're likely to see some frog token sites later. But just having 4 power, 5 mana, it's just it's a decent rate for limited. And it has Submerge, so if you get a Harbinger, it's okay. Like if you roll in a square, like more in the center lanes with Harbinger, being able to put out Slimy Mutants early and have that 4 power on the board is pretty good. So I think if I'm in water, I'm grabbing Slimy Mutants first. I don't think either one of these cards puts me in water if I'm already in Earth. If I'm in air, if I'm in air, do I just take the Ghoul here? Maybe. Like I said, I don't want to be in air fire. If I'm in air, I do just take the Ghoul here for sure. It's just 3 mana for 3 power. Neither one of these really does enough to put me into water. I don't really want to be in fire with air, personally. But yeah, Wreathed in Righteousness, definitely a very strong card here. Being able to deal with the skeleton tokens, that's a high pick. So, these are all really good. Second pick, third pick, fourth pick for sure. Any of these would be really good fourth pick. Ignited, it's a removal spell for someone else, for your opponent's 3 power minion. So it's a good card. All right, the last pack I want to look at here has Smite right on top. This is a snap take if you're in Earth. If you're in fire, even like if your first pick was fire, I would even take Smite over the Hot Wheel, Centipede. I would just take Smite. I would jump into Earth right away for that Smite. Mesmer Demon's really good here in water. Revered Revenant is only good if you happen to get Savior. Otherwise, I really wouldn't mess with Revered Revenant. Zombie Horde is really good in Earth. 5 mana for 5 power. So, yeah, we didn't even talk about Zombie Horde when we first opened this pack. That Ifrit, I should have, honestly. He can't move to defend, but he's a big boy. 5 mana for 5 power is a big boy. So yeah, for in Earth, Zombie Horde or Smite. Smite does deal with the Zombie Horde. If our first pick was Earth, which one do we take here? This would be a tough toss-up. I do feel like I really want to be able to deal with my opponent's largest thing out on the field, so I would probably still take the Smite. Smite can also finish the game out if your avatar's on death's door, so Smite is just better than a 5 mana for 5, but dang, that hurts. That definitely hurts having to pass this. If Smite is not here, I take Zombie Horde if I'm in Earth. If I'm in Fire, I still take Zombie Horde. If I'm in Water already, I don't take Zombie Horde. If I'm in water, I'll take Mesmer Demon. Mesmer Demon is pretty good. If I'm in air, I'll take Zombie Horde. Or Smite. So yeah. If I'm in air or fire, I'll just take either one of these. Because the Bladder Blimp is just too risky. But yeah. So, but all of those really good high picks. Bladder Blimp, again, I'm not sure if I'd take that anytime soon. Hot Wheel is kind of cool, like as a fourth pick, maybe. If you're in fire, there's nothing else in the pack. Say all of these are gone, and all that's here is Hot Wheel. If you're already in fire, that could be cool. If I'm in earth, if I'm not in fire already, I'd grab like Open Grave or something out of all of these. If I'm in air, Bound Spirit is a 4 power for 4 mana. So if you're in air, there's just not a lot of strong minions, big powerful minions like that. So if I'm in air here, and those other cards are not in here, Smite and Zombie Horde, I would definitely just take Bound Spirit. Disable unless adjacent to an allied spellcaster. If anything, it's a good defensive card. And if you need to move up so that it can attack, could be worth it. So, all right, so that does it. I just wanted to go over some of my kind of thoughts on what I would pick for the first pick and the second pick. Again, these were our pack 1 pick ones: Holy Water, Holy Nova, Interrogator, Kiss of Death, Monks of Cabalsa, Screamer, Mazu Jeffrey. All very, very good pack 1 pick ones. And then, yeah, when you move on to pack 2, when you're drafting, you can still switch colors in pack 2. And it happens a lot. You'll open up your pack and you'll see some giant bomb like Lord of Lies. And you're just, you're an idiot if you don't switch in the water at that point. It's just too good. So yeah, in pack 2, even if you're just set in Earth Fire, you open up Lord of the Lies, switch into, take your strongest color, the color that you have the most cards for, or the strongest cards for in Earth or Fire, and just pivot. It's okay to pivot in pack 2. When you get to pack 3, it's not really okay to pivot. At that point, you're not going to get enough cards to flesh out your second color if you switch to a new color. So unfortunately, with bomb cards, if you open up your pack 3 and there's a bomb in there, it might be a good idea to hate draft it, especially if it's something like a giant Lord of Lies. That might be a good idea. So, but yeah, try to stick to 2 colors. 3 colors is not advisable. You will likely not get your threshold on time, and you'll be forced to draw sights instead of spells. And that's not a place that you want to be in. So try to stick to 2 colors. Don't pivot after pack 2. You can still pivot in pack 2. Start at pack 2. Maybe, I don't know. Pivoting like midway through pack 2, I don't know of any card that would force you to do that or convince you to do that. Maybe if you're just getting starved on a certain color. But even then, I'd probably just hold strong and bank on pack 3 bringing that color back, because the packs will be rotating the other direction by then. So just have faith in pack 3 at that point. But yeah, that's about it. Drafting it's complicated. Now this whole video is definitely more focused on casual drafting. Once you get into like high level competitive drafting, which we don't even really have in Sorcery, then of course you'll be wanting to pay attention to cues, to what your opponents are choosing, what colors are getting dried up, what kinds of cards that you see getting passed around. But that's outside of the purview of this video. So this is just basic drafting techniques to make sure that you can win at your local event. your local draft event, your local store. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.